Abuse in relationships is often a tragic secret that tears lives apart. 1 in 3 women are victims of domestic abuse. It is a tragedy that happens in every sector of society, regardless of class, race, religion, education, or gender. It is the victim's silence that becomes the abuser's greatest weapon, allowing the cycle of pain to continue. Children who witness abuse grow up believing it a normal part of relationships. Boys, seeing their mothers disrespected and battered, are more likely to grow up and do the same to their partners. Girls are more likely to grow up and find partners who abuse them. This cycle of domestic abuse and violence cannot be broken with silence. This is the story of a woman who went from victim to survivor, who found the strength and the voice to stop the abuse and break this cycle.
I know where to walk.
You know where to go to KFC?
Yes.
Alright.
And I know to look right and left
Why would you look right and left?
because cat could be coming.
Alright.
You must always look right and left.
I remember I was in a fast food outlet purchasing some food, and I heard some people in the line speaking about a recent case that had happened that was in the news, a domestic violence case. And, you know, it was what they said that really caused me to want to tell my story, because they were saying things like, you know, she liked the licks, that's why she stayed. And woman's stupid, eh? Well, how do I take that? And, you know, that caused a passion inside of me, ignited a fire. I wanted to tell my story because I realized that people don't understand domestic violence. You know, there are so many things involved why someone would stay, or why it would take longer for a person to even get the strength to leave. So that caused me to want to tell my story so people could understand deeper what happens to victims in domestic violence.
You can't always tell the secrets and stories that happen within the walls of a home. This home can tell the story of one woman's journey, from the pain and violence of an abusive relationship to strength and hope.
I'm really excited about meeting my school friends today because I haven't seen them in a couple of years.
Growing up without my dad was really difficult. I really needed to have him around. I felt like there was a big gap, a big space. He wasn't there. I really needed that strong male figure in my life. And I couldn't understand why everyone else had their dad and I didn't have my dad. At times I started to think, well, probably it was something I did. Probably it was how I looked. Why didn't he love me? And as long as I can remember, for most of my life, I would search for that male figure or that love from a male person that I felt was missing.
Come. Don't you shy. Come. Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, wake up. Morning.
Morning.
Brush your teeth already?
I remember I was 7 years old and my mom came inside with a storybook actually and some other packages. And I remember her giving me the storybook and resting the other stuff on the table, and then she said, your dad just brought this. And I remember running into the gallery as fast as I could to see who's my dad. Why didn't he say hello to me? And when I got to the gallery and I looked up the road, I only saw the back of someone turning the corner. I kept trying to understand why he would come and drop stuff and never say hello. Didn't he just want to see me smile? He didn't just want to just hold me for once, lift me up like a father should?
You have any spelling to learn?
I don't know.
So we will check because you have tests next week, so you need to do some revision for school. Alright? Okay? Okay? Alright. So I'm coming back.
I can use it for my
No, Alyssa, if somebody called for me, how would I leave my phone with you? I'm coming back just now. Come on.
So you just look like this. Hello, this is Camika. Look at you.
I'm coming back.
Every time I asked my mom about my dad, she would say that he's abroad. And that was it. She never really went into an explanation. Up until about 5 years ago, I strongly believed that I was unlovable. That it was something with me that caused people not to be able to love me. I remember at 14 years old, I was raped by an acquaintance. He was 25 years old, and that really impacted my life because I was very naive at that age. Didn't really know anything about sex and so on, and it hurt a lot. But what would have impacted my life even worse is I had this one friend that I truly trusted, and I told him. He was the only person I told that I had gotten raped. And his response to that was that he raped me as well. And then one day I started hating men. I remember having a whole whirlwind of feelings. Betrayal, hurt, pain. Couldn't understand why men just couldn't love me again. That feeling kept coming. And I decided then and there that I would get back at all men. I started hating men and I started being very promiscuous. I used my body to control men, to manipulate them, to get back at them. I would do anything I had to hurt a man, like the way they hurt me.
I remember Camika would write some really beautiful poetry. You remember that, Camika? Used to write very well.
I didn't really think they were all that.
No, they were great. And there's this particular one. You had a way of writing about persons who suffered injustices. And there's one with a female that you wrote. She was abused. She was sexually abused. And at the time, I really couldn't understand it because I didn't understand the experience, but I thought, wow. We walked to your house. I don't know what I was doing there. We went into your bedroom. We looked at the mirror because you were talking about yourself. I think you were doing some modeling too.
Yeah.
Yes, you're doing some modeling, right? And you had pictures of yourself stuck on the mirror. And I thought, wow, you know, Camika is very focused. She's very beautiful. And she is very in touch with people's feelings. But I also told myself, I wonder if Camika suffered any of this. But if she did, I can't even help her, you know, because I don't know what to do.
Well, you know, it's kind of weird to hear you all say that because in my mind, I felt like everybody knew what was happening and everybody thought the worst of me. So I guess it's good to walk down memory lane and hear that you guys, you know, you actually saw me in a different light than what I actually saw in myself. That time it was difficult for me because I had gotten raped. While I was about 14 when I got raped.
Right.
And coming back to school was difficult, you know. And I didn't just get raped once, but I got raped a second time by somebody I trusted. So what you all guys didn't know is that I had made up my mind to really to take advantage of men.
Wow.
So that's why you would find that, you know, the boys being around me, I used that to my advantage to get whatever I want. I felt powerful knowing that I could do whatever I want, and like there were those little pawns in my hand.
That's a serious type of objective, Camika.
That's how it felt to me.
At the age of 16 years old, I met a guy who I believed would protect me. He was in a gang. He was what we would call a bad boy. And I believe that his being in a gang and his whole persona would have protected me. I felt a sense of security and I started trusting him. However, that violence turned on me. And that was the first time I would have experienced physical abuse. Shortly after that relationship with the guy in the gang, I met my ex-husband. I met the person that I was going to marry. And, I really felt like he was Prince Charming. But that relationship went from good to bad to worse. And what I thought would be the best years of my life turned out to be 20 years of hell. I had 2 children with him before we were married, and then I have 5 children in marriage, so altogether we have 7 kids, and the entire relationship was 20 years. When I first met my ex-husband, it was like a fairy tale. He made me laugh all the time. He was extra caring, extra loving. He seemed to always want to be around me all the time, every minute of the day. And for somebody who was lacking that male love, I felt like this was the one. However, that excessive love and excessive caring soon turned into almost like obsession. I couldn't do much things without him around. He would insist that he had to be there. He had to be with me everywhere. Everything I did, I had to account to him for everything I did. And then it was like I couldn't do anything right. Everything I did became a problem. It was always I didn't do it good enough, or it was completely wrong. I felt like I was under a microscope. He would criticize every single thing I did. And self-esteem, I started to doubt myself again. I started to think that I am doing something that is causing people not to love me. At that time, I didn't really realize that I was a victim of domestic violence. I really believe that I was doing something wrong. The abuse could take place like nearly every day, but it was different types. So verbal abuse, emotional abuse, that took place every day. He would always have something to say about myself, or about my body, or about my education. If it was not, it was about the way I dressed. If it wasn't that, then the physical abuse that could take place at least once a week. Once I gave him opposition to whatever it is he wanted done, physical abuse would take place. And sexual abuse that took place every day. I didn't have a say when it came to that. It was whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted it. I remember many times I would cry during sex, and that never stopped him. Many times I would really think that I was useless. Sometimes I think that I should just die, because I would ask, how could I, a mother, just sit by and see my children being abused? I believe that everyone knew what was taking place in my community, especially people that were closest around our home, because once an episode was happening, there was a lot of noise. You would hear me screaming, there'd be a lot of cursing, you'd hear stuff being mashed up. He would come out in the yard, he'd talk very loud, he'd curse loudly, say derogatory things about me really loudly. And sometimes these things would happen 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, during the day, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock when it's quiet. And I know that my neighbors would hear because sometimes I would see them peeping out. I'd see them watching and going back inside. Now, I don't blame them. I'm not upset with them. But I understand now that because of a lack of understanding of domestic violence, people don't really get involved. And it's because of all those experiences why I've chosen to speak up. I decided that I had to get out of the relationship, if not for myself, for my kids. I knew it would have been hard, and the reality of leaving my marriage, it felt like a failure. And that was one thing I didn't want to feel like. But I knew that I had to do it. I had to do it for my children's sake. Because I couldn't allow them to live in that any longer.
I want to talk about this. This is something that, this really bothers me because in Trinidad, sometimes we make jokes, we make everything very comical. And domestic violence is a very serious issue. Sometimes we make things funny or we use sarcasm in Trinidad, things like this. But what we're really doing is sending subliminal messages. What we're really doing is saying that it's okay. There's a problem, and the way to solve this problem is through violence. And this is why I say that we all play a part in domestic violence.
Immediately after our separation, let's say like the first 2 years, there would be a lot of aggressive behavior in my home between my children. So it would go beyond sibling rivalry. They'd get really out of hand. They would fight. They would have really bad arguments. And I believe that was a spin-off of things they would have lived in and them trying to adjust to a new life.
When my father finally left, to me, things were more calm, but the whole household was really trying to live a better life, but the scars and the bruises were still there. All we knew and knew what to do was to fight. So from the time somebody disagree with each other, it was immediately fight.
That was difficult for me because sometimes I just feel like a failure. I felt like even though I had removed what was causing the problem, it was almost as if the problem was still there. And, many times I would have asked myself, what if my kids turn out like this, especially my sons? I would wonder if I had the wherewithal to cope with this, to bring them into a completely new life, new attitudes, new behaviors.
Sometimes when I was younger, at times I saw my father being abusive to my mom, but I think it was once I saw him hit her, and as soon as he did it, I ran in at the same time, and I got some blows myself too, trying to protect my mother. She was outside a time and they were fighting in the car, and he dragged her out and he just drove off. Yeah. And he left her there and she came inside crying. If my father had stayed up to this age that I am right now, if he had stayed and the abuse had continued, I believe that I will not be sitting here today talking to you. I might be behind the bars because I was really planning to go and do my father something just to stop the abuse of my mother.
I feared most of all that my older son would be a perpetrator. And this is because I realized over time, as he was going to school, he had no respect for female authority. And all the authority figures in his school were female. So the dean was female, principal, vice principal, they were all female. And nearly every Monday morning I would have to go to school because he is suspended.
Well, first of all, my father's, his attitude and his ways and the abuse, it affected me in many ways. School, it affected me towards women in authority, even my female friends in primary school. In primary school, I was a smart kid up until standard 2. That is when the rage now started to come out, and at times he didn't want us to study. All he wanted us to do is clean and just listen to whatever he said to do, and that really affected my schoolwork, and my grades just started to drop each year, and it just couldn't go back up until I was in about Form 4. I started to really realize that I can't allow this to destroy my future. And with my female friends in primary school, I would always be fighting with them physically.
It was one of the hardest things to look at my son and think that he was going to turn out to be the thing I didn't want him to be most of all, the thing I tried to save him from. And that's why I always say that, domestic violence is a cycle and it continues from one generation to the next. So we need to be very careful of choices we make or what we allow in our homes, especially when there are children around.
Well, as an older person now, as a teenager into my 20s, there were times that I wanted to lash out at them, but at the females. But every time I really wanted to, I just think of my father and what he used to do. And I really don't want to put myself there. I don't want to be like him. I just don't want to, so I really hold back myself. The most I might do is curse and say some words at times, which I believe I don't mean. I apologize after, but there was one time that I was so angry, and she was continue pushing, and she was hitting me as well, and I was asking her to stop, but she was really angry as well too. She didn't really like what I did, and I got so angry, I hit her right on her shoulder here, and as I did it, I felt so bad. I didn't want to be in her face anymore, because I started to watch myself like, are you turning into your father here? And I really regret that, and after that, it never happened again.
At that moment when he did that, it kind of took me back to something that also happened to me, but I was real hurt. I was crying hysterically, and I didn't even take my cell phone at the time because I saw how he kind of punished himself and how he was reacting with himself. I immediately forgot about me and just went to him. I forgive him and everything. I understood the struggle he was going through, and I know it's kind of hard to control. And the position I played in it, I didn't really help. So, yeah.
Well, I'm present age now, and I believe about 3 years ago, I started to talk to him and tell him that how I feel and what he did and how it made me. And he just used to stay there and listen to me and try his best to apologize and try to comfort me. Although he knew what he have done, he tried to comfort me. And today, when I speak to him, I could see that he's really trying to be a whole different person because he know he has lost his whole family. He has lost many things, and by him losing us, I believe that he realized that he was really wrong in what he did.
Abusers, many times, there are blueprints in their mind. Many abusers, not all, but many of them, would have grown up in a home where they would have seen abuse, and it becomes a blueprint. So once they're in the right situation with the right triggers, they would go to that blueprint in their mind. They would lash out. They would do what they have seen, what they have learned at home growing up. And you know, for many abusers, it's about power and control. It's always about power and control.
How can we come up my mind again?
Nah, just try to go up in that side.
Why?
You know your side hot, so it's better you come by me. You better stay safe, right? So you don't want to be safe then?
Yes, but the traveling and money.
It will be the same thing as if I travel about you.
But you spend the money.
I am aware that I am still at risk to be like my dad because at times when life and everything around me just gets so overwhelming, at times I just can't contain myself and I will come into my room and I may hit the door, I may punch the wall. Sometimes I may just go in kickboxing and just ask everybody to fight and I would just keep fighting for the whole day until I just drain out. So I believe I'm still at risk and I could do with some more counseling as well.
Just watching you over some time, and I'm proud of who you are, who you've become.
Thanks.
You remember when you used to have plenty trouble?
Yeah.
But
I remember that.
I'll be honest with you, for some time, like back then I was really afraid. I thought that I would lose my son. Like when I say that,
I thought I'd lose myself and all too.
I was really afraid. I thought that one day the police will call me because they would have you arrested or something really bad would happen. But when I look at you today, I'm very proud of you. From my heart, I am proud of you.
Thanks.
And I really tried my best.
I know you tried your best because I know if you wanted to, just like how many mothers just pick up and leave and go in the States and just didn't come back. I know you had the opportunity to do it and you just didn't do it. So I know at times you just feel like you're failing and stuff. And I just get angry sometimes when you're feeling so because you didn't feel at all. Look, everybody's still here. You didn't leave and go nowhere. So you're seen about just by yourself. We mightn't have all the flat screen and stuff right now, but everything will come with a time and whoever out on the streets want to laugh and say whatever, I know you doing your best and I do my best as a young person. You're doing good.
Well, I mean, I love to hear you say that because I do feel sometimes like I'm feeling on parenting. I mean, I know I have good children, but sometimes it is difficult to be working, to be single, and to take care of 7 of you all because each of you have a different personality and each one of you require different kinds of attention. So it is be hard sometimes, but it's good to hear it coming from you that, you know, you appreciate it and did well. And I want you to know I will never leave on it. No matter what opportunity is, I never leave on it. want I want your opinion on something, right? Father's Day coming, and I want to call my father. You know, I never spoke to him, right?
And that.
So I'm going to call him, and I'm going to wish him Happy Father's Day.
But so if you just hang up the phone in there one time, don't feel no harm.
I won't feel no harm.
I'm emotional sometimes already.
It's just something I want to do. So no matter how it turns out, it will be a chapter closed in my book.
Go ahead. Just be strong. Just be strong.
I'll try my best.
All right.
Also, I would have seen my eldest daughter going through domestic violence just like me. She had chosen a boyfriend that was violent towards her. In many ways, when I looked at him or even interacted with him, he was a lot like my ex-husband, and that tore my heart out. I tried speaking with her, I tried talking to her, and what really hurt a lot is when she said, you know, Mom, I know he's like Daddy, but I don't know why. I keep choosing that. And that really hurt me, and, you know, it hit me like a ton of bricks, because then I realized what I had done to my kids.
Alright, oh Mari, come Papa. Mari. My childhood was, how to put it, a little challenging, because growing up in the abuse that we grew up in, it kind of affect me up to this day, because I don't trust meals as easily as before. One thing. Good? Good. What are you watching? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Mari. I saw my dad abuse my mom a lot of times. He even abused me at sometimes, my brothers, everyone. A lot of lash and kicks to my belly and stuff. That was the worst time ever. I found myself somebody similar to my dad, which is my son's dad, right? Maybe that's, I don't know why, but I just attached to my son's dad, and he was also abusive until I started to lash back, and then it was a brawl at all times. I decided that I was done with him when he, what did he do? I fight with him with my belly. Well, when my belly was bigger, we had a big fight, right? So we was literally fighting with my belly, and then I was like, this really not gonna work out. No. I am worried that my son could grow up to be like, I wouldn't say like his father, but he could grow up to being an abusive person. Because my father abusive, his father abusive, his grandfather's abusive. And yes, I worried, but I could only try my best and talk to him to pray that he wouldn't end up like that, because for females to go through that is not a nice thing at all. The effect it had on me from growing up in an abusive home was always finding myself attached to somebody like that. No matter if I try not to, I will unconsciously find another person like that. Go up and go down, go up and yeah. Even though my dad was difficult, I always wanted him around, because even though it was more abuse, it had special times with us. Both of us was very close. I was his eyeball, and as the years go by, everything just changed. He grew up in an abusive home as well. His mom used to abuse him, right? So even though he used to do that, I just
had a love for my dad. And I still do have a love for my dad because I will text him. He will text me. He will come and see me. We will go out and drive around. I still do, but I still love him. Even though he did what he did, because he also grew up in an abusiveness from his mom. I used to play some... He has to play football with all that energy. I have never spoke to my dad about how he had make us go through what we went through. I never spoke to him about how he grew up either, because I'm really not sure why I really didn't want to get into all the emotional stuff unless he wants to, then, because he knows what he do, because he always say he's sorry. He know what he did. So I don't want to bring it up to trigger any feelings in that kind of way. So I never bring it up ever. I just try to keep everything on a happy scale. Anything happy, we could talk about it. Keep it happy. Okay. Okay. Alright, tomorrow. The question I would ask him is, if ever once he realized he abusing us and wanted to stop. That would be my question to him. If he ever at any time realized what he was doing and wanted to stop, or even make an effort to stop. Come on, Mari.
When I found out that my daughter was pregnant, I actually was with her at the doctor. She wasn't well, and she asked me to go with her to the doctor.
Mommy going to work?
So we were there, and the doctors, I remember the doctor saying he had something to tell her, but would she rather her mom step outside? So she said, no, whatever you have to tell me, you can tell me in front of my mom, it's fine.
Right, and Mari was sweat. Look how Mari is.
No, he looking cute.
No.
And he told her that she was pregnant. At first, I was shocked. I started to feel a bit scared because I started to think of all the responsibilities that come with a child. I remembered myself at 19 years old being pregnant, and I wondered if she was ready for that kind of responsibility.
He crazy.
He's always watching in the sky.
I don't know what he have with the roof. He always watching me.
A lion! I am a lion tamer. I can do many tricks. You like the lion? Lion. Lion.
I'm very vexed.
One before he started crying.
My mom only talk about her father by saying he left. I think when he was 6 years, I can't really remember, but she said that he left. She never grew up with a father, and she didn't want. That's why she said she didn't want us to grow up without a father. That's the only thing we really know about him. That he left, and he left her mom to do it on her own. She was the only child who always wanted her father.
You like it? You don't know what I'm doing. Tell me about leaving.
Leaving was the hardest thing, because as much as you want to leave, you always think that that person could change. And I had to even, social media, I had to even come off of it for a while and then change up everything, name everything.
Okay.
Day by day, it's getting better. Because I now interact with people More.
So I want you to tell yourself. So you repeat after me. Samantha,
Samantha,
you are worthy
you are worthy
of love.
of love.
Samantha, you're beautiful.
Samantha, you are beautiful.
Samantha, you can get your degree.
Samantha, you can get your degree.
Samantha,
Samantha,
you can have the family that you desire.
you can have the family that you desire.
Natalie? Hi.
Camika, thanks for coming.
Yes, I know it takes kind of long. That's okay.
I'm glad you came.
No problems. I know it takes kind of long to reach.
Oh, that's okay. At least you finally came.
So what you up to?
Nothing much. Come now. You want to have a seat?
This is Mom and me. It's a baby.
Nice. I like that.
This is one of the favorite times of my life.
Yeah, this is a nice one.
Except for the shoes on sandals.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
Yeah.
why they just put in the shoes on sandals. This is Mom and me. She threw me a surprise birthday party at 11 years old. This is around 14, school days, always looking sad.
Why?
And this is when I used to model at 16 years old.
Very nice.
I really enjoyed this. This is a family picture when I got married. So that is Shanika, Daniel, Brandon, Jamal. And I was actually pregnant here with Ceres.
Wow.
And my ex-husband. Well,
That's your man.
yeah, Michael Jackson. This is Shanika's first birthday. Just 1 year old.
Wow. She looks just like Omari there.
You think so? This is her. She was begging for cricks. So as soon as she see cricks, she used to put out her hand.
Very nice. That's cute. You know, it's funny you should bring all these pictures for me to see.
Really?
Because Mommy sent something for you.
Okay.
Have you ever seen your dad?
No, only from the back.
Would you like to see him?
Of course.
Okay. She did up this album for you. And he's in here on the first page. And he's not as good looking as Mommy, but you know, they resemble sort of.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's him with my two brothers.
You think I look like him?
No, you look like your mom.
Okay.
For sure.
I really wish I could get to meet him in person. Like, where we could talk a little bit.
Okay. You think that's a good idea?
I don't know. But I think I'll call him for Father's Day. What do you think?
Well, prepare yourself for the worst. I mean, you know, remember this is a man who knows about you and hasn't bothered to
Yeah, I
contact
understand.
you. So just, you know, I mean, if the best happens, great.
Yeah.
But
Well, I know I'll brace myself, but for me, it will be closure. I would connect a voice with a person now. At least, you know, I know what he looks like.
I understand that. Okay, well, good luck.
Tell your mom this is really special. Like, I really appreciate this. I'll treasure this.
Camika, I have to say that meeting you and knowing everything you went through and everything that you've come through and what you're building out of it, it's admirable. And I must say you are one of the cousins I look up to.
Wow. Thank you. Well, I look up to you as well.
Well, thank you. That's because I'm taller.
Good afternoon.
Seriously?
Hi, put your things outside. I'll come in just now, right?
My foot is 5 feet killing me.
Really? How was school? Go and put your things outside and I'll come just now.
See, it doesn't go again. I'm not going to school.
My mother always told me to forget about him. Stop trying to find my dad because he's someone that gives a lot of empty promises and she couldn't live on empty promises anymore. So she decided to take care of me on her own.
Mommy, can I have some juice, please?
You bought all you want to?
Yes.
Alright, I'll come in. Then as I got older, I found a letter that my dad wrote her. And this letter would have been, I believe, right after she would have told him that I was pregnant. Where he told her that he wants nothing to do with her or this child that she's carrying. It's not his. And he has a family that lives abroad. And he's going to meet his family and he wants nothing to do with us. My mother is unaware that I found that letter. I never told her anything. And you know, that remained with me for years, that he could just, even though he wanted to walk away from the relationship with my mom, whatever it is they had, how could you walk away from your flesh and blood? How could he not think for one day, you know, what is she doing? And I know that he knows it's a she because he would have come before he actually left the country and dropped stuff. But didn't you ever just want to say hello to me? Didn't you just want to see what I look like? Just one time. You know, those are questions that forever will be in my mind. Hi, good afternoon. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Can I speak to Ian, please?
Oh, that is Sharon. Hello?
Hi?
Hello, is it Sharon?
No, it isn't. I'm trying to get on to Ian. It's not Sharon.
This is Ian speaking.
This is Ian?
Yes, it is.
Hi.
Hello.
This is Camika.
Who the hell is Camika?
Well, I am your daughter from Trinidad. I am Shiva's daughter. And I just really wanted to call you and wish you happy Father's Day.
I don't know who the hell this woman is. I don't know who they're talking about. I don't know you. I don't know who you're talking about. Please. Telling me things that I don't know. Please. Today is Sunday. Today is Father's Day.
I know it's Father's Day. I just really wanted to hear your voice. And you don't know anyone by the name of Shiva McClatchy, my mother?
I don't know who you're talking about. Please. Who is... I don't... Who is Shiva? What is his name? Shiva what?
Shiva McClatchy.
Listen, miss. Please. Don't delude yourself. Whoever told you that or whoever it is, trying to be courteous. Today is Sunday. It's Father's Day. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want, please, believe me.
All right. So, Ian, I do apologize about that, but I still just want to say Happy Father's Day to you. All right? Bye-bye.
All right. Well, if you don't know Father's Day to your father and Happy Father's Day to your relatives, please, I don't want to hurt your feelings. Today is a beautiful day here in New York.
And it's
I don't want to... Please. I don't know who you are. I don't know
okay.
who this is.
It's okay. I still got to hear your voice, and that meant something to me, even if you don't remember or you don't want to own me. That's okay.
Who you are. I really don't know who you are. And please, it's a pleasant day. And
you have a good day as well.
All right?
Yes.
All right.
A daddy is like a superhero. A daddy is like that person who watch out for you and hug you when things go wrong and make it right, or promise that it will be right. You know, a daddy is like this big wall that will protect you all the time, and I didn't have him to protect me. I didn't have those strong arms, and that's something that stayed with me my whole life. I didn't have strong arms that I could just run into. Like, strong arms that could just hold me when I was crying or when things hurt. You know, there are times when I just wanted those strong arms to just hold me, that I could just cry on his shoulders or just put my head in his lap, and I never had that. Ole, are we ready to go? Everybody ready? Come on! The man outside. It's okay. I have everything. Alright, let's go. Doing a documentary impacted my kids in several ways. There were a lot of mixed emotions. Some of them were excited to hear that, you know, we were going to be in a documentary, and you know, children, they would have thought about, you know, all their friends are going to see this and stuff like that. But then when they realized the depth of the documentary and what was really required, there were times they were a bit shy, and they felt like, Mommy, you know, do we really have to say that on camera? You know, things like that. I guess they would have wondered, you know, what their friends may have thought and stuff. The younger ones, they were just happy to do it. It didn't really matter to them. The first two, when I explained to them what it would be about and the reason that we needed to do the documentary, they then were a lot more willing to open themselves up and, you know, allow you all to see us for who we truly are. I have thought about what my ex-husband would do when he sees this film, or how he would react. But, you know, I have spoken, this is not the first time I've spoken publicly. I've spoken on radio, I've spoken on television, and I want to believe that he has heard me on radio already. And I want to believe that because I've seen some sort of change in him in terms of the way he interacts with me and the kids since I've spoken publicly. So I believe that it has impacted him in a way, probably brought everything to a reality before him, you know, and that's why probably I see the change. That's what I think.
What is it for?
This is sun. You find it beautiful?
I find the whole place beautiful.
The whole place? Today, while I search myself, I know that I have truly forgiven my ex-husband for everything that would have happened in a marriage. How do I know I've forgiven him? I'm able to speak to him or interact with him with peace in my heart. I'm able to truly want the best for him in his life. And I truly understand now that he was also a victim. I'm not making excuses, but I'm saying that, you know, I understand that he was just a victim. And, you know, I believe that really being able to forgive someone is for your own benefit. It's not just for them, but it's for yourself. So forgiveness was important for me to be able, if I had to help anybody, to bring anybody to the same path that I am on, forgiveness on my part for what happened in my past was essential to me helping others.
Miss Camika Letchie.
So this afternoon I'm here to speak a little bit about domestic violence. And I want to go on to say further that statistics say that, you know, it's 1 in every 3 are affected by domestic violence. So what that says is that domestic violence is right next to you. Because if we count 1, 2, 3, then that's domestic violence. 1, 2, 3, that's domestic violence. And the statistics are the same for abuse. So therefore, abuse is right in your churches, it's in your school, it's in your workplace, it's wherever you are, it's right next to you. Males who grow up in homes where domestic violence is prevalent, 90% of the times they become abusers. And abuse is a cycle. So if you don't make a choice to leave, then know that you are growing sons who will be abusers. And I want you to understand that females as well that grow up in a home with domestic violence, if they don't become abusers, what we are doing is that we are teaching them to accept abuse. So one day your little daughter is going to choose someone that's going to abuse her, just as you are being abused. If you are a victim and you're sitting here, I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that you have support. And I want you to know that there is a way out. But in order for you to get out, the decision starts with you. You must make that decision to leave. If you are a perpetrator, I want you to know that the first choice or the first thing is admitting that you need help. There's no shame in admitting that you need help. And you should do that as soon as possible before you do something that you regret. Thank you.
Camika found the strength to leave her abusive husband and create a new life for her children. Rather than allow past pain to break her, she now uses her story as a survivor to empower and educate.